We're going to click start recording. We're going to welcome YouTube audience back. CLG FC episode 250. The big 250. We've hit a quarter of 1,000 episodes. A quarter of 1,000 in the save in terms of official games. Crazy. Crazy. That's in all competitions as well, Cup and League. Hopefully we bounce back with a win. I do need to make my notes super quickly, which I realize the processing just stopped the moment I go to do that. Right. Who's next? Right. Come on. Cord getting stuck on everything. Social feed. Really just transfer business for West Ham. Their season, I think, just started. Rochdalians next or in third. Then we got the FA Cup preliminary round against Hanley Town. Right. Man, that's terrible. This is terrible offers for Snicky. Snicky's value is up of $1 million, and they said, "Yeah, we'll pay you $33,000 for it, bro." That's fine. These two, we delay 1 month. Yes. Don't you ever recommend such a thing again. The man is a legend. I actually don't think he is. He's a legend to me. Simon Rodriguez. He's not. No, there's only 3 legends at the club right now. My manager, Snicky, and Sheamus. So, speaking of which, real quick, let's go to squad. It is 2034. Harry Norris expires at the end of the year. Tyler Wrights does. He's got an extension. Actually, all of these guys do. And I still think there's a use for Perver. He's 19. He's got some decent potential. I mean, his tackling's really good. So, needs to work on a few things, positioning, anticipation, but, you know. Kevin Heinrich is a backup keeper, not bad. He's 20. And then we got to think about Frack. He does not have a extension. We got to think about Twinkle. He does not have an extension. Charlie Wildman is not bad. I don't know if he's going to be 100% here. He's 27. By the time his contract runs out, he'll probably be 29. Snicky and Parks and Konikun and myself next season as well. Well, we'll think about it. Right. We keep moving on. I should have went back to the mix, by the way. Bells of New York is just an early 90s classic, by the way. Like, I want to say 92? '94. Rochdalians are 1-2. We're 5-1. The draw is 3-1. Let's kick this off with a pre-match press conference from Nathaniel Kane, non-league paper. Seems to be the only one at the press conferences recently. Record speaks for itself. Be picked up with your team, with your opponent's schedule in mind. Without having to make change, I always prefer to play with my strongest team. As far as I'm concerned, he's right. He's our not so secret weapon. That was easy, or straightforward, I should say. Now it's gonna be like, yep. Harry Norris is doubtful. Brott is still out. 5 days to 2. I could miss him I'm gonna miss him in the FA Cup game. Fuck. If we advance in the FA Cup, he'll be back for this weekend, the first qualifying round. That's a big if, though. All right, hold on. Before you go on to more, resume the mix that we had going on here. Here we go. Dunlop got Walsall Wood. We have got Rochdalians in the league. There we go. We've ticked over. I got a big ass sneeze coming. Sorry. Right. We're expected to lose. We are expected to lose. I feel like we can take them, but we'll see. I feel like we can take anybody in this league. So we will see. Harry Norris passed the fitness test. So did Chris Foster. Jaden Almarad, we're going to mark tightly. We're also going to mark Callum Clark tightly at all times. There we go. Come on. Thank you. Right. Broad's still out. Who's he wanted by? Brentford stock? Yeah, fuck that. Parks returns to the lineup for Perver. Heinrich is still in. Sam Wellman. How is Switchblade doing? He's not anywhere close currently. We really want him at defensive midfield, and he's got a ways to go. Right. We're gonna save the game and get into it. Episode 250. I started playing the mix, and we gotta stop the mix because we got another game. Okay, you got to move to that tab. You're going to pause because we got our walkout song coming. Right. Here we go. We're going to always mark Mark Clark. We're 3-0-1. They are 3-1-0. Fifth versus third. A point separates us. Okay, I hate to say that with this team. Right, Simeon Lucas, 2 matches, 1 red, 7 yellows. They're in a 4-2-3-1. We are in a 4-1-1-3-1. Top for a crusade. We are underway with another match at the Faithful Wall. Don't seem to be a lot of fans this time, unfortunately. Here we go. Here's Cottam, Clark, back to Cottam. Cottam the cross, headed away. Gabovs will bring it down. Here comes another cross. Heinrich does punch it away. Billingham, O'Brien, Omerod, Cottam. Billingham, back to Cottam. Here comes another cross. That's a corner. Gabovs. Headed up, not out. Clark back in. Cookies punts it clear. It's the end of the highlight. Here's Frack. Spaps, Frack, Twinkle. Back post. Sheamus can't win the header. Cottam puts it out for a corner. Sheamus. Oh, I didn't win the header. It's going to fall to a Konikun outside the box. Back for Parks. Why would you go back to a Konikun, bro? Almirad off to the races. A Konikun's fouled him. I'm surprised that's not a yellow card. If I was a referee, that would be a yellow card for stopping a promising attack. Caught him. Clark inside. Frack offsides on Gabovs. Here's Sheamus. Whipped in. Nobody can win the header. Cookies puts it back in play. It's headed away. Parks on the left. Sheamus. Snicky. Can't quite win versus 2. That's a good main. Oh! Just over the top. Gabovs. Back inside for O'Brien. Back to Gabovs. Here comes the cross. Out for a corner. Caught him. Looking for Gabovs. One touch. Frank cuts it out. The mad scientist. What's going on, brother? How are you, man? Good to see you. I'm doing all right. I'm physically recovering from FM Llama. Thank you for the follow, brother. Hope you're well, Llama. Thank you. I'm doing all right, scientist. I'm recovering from going to the game yesterday. It's just a tiring event. There we go, Heinrich. We're in level 9. Welcome aboard, by the way. For those that don't know, we are in. This is CLG FC. This is a homage to the old Counterlogic Gaming, which was an esports organization that existed from 2010 until 2023. So I have a football scarf they once sold. Um, what a save from Heinrich! Wow. How many episodes are you up now on YouTube? Well, I don't know. Give me a second, because the off-season episodes are named like point, right? So it's like 254 was the last regular season episode, and then all the off-season episodes would be like 245.1, 245.2 until we get to the start of next season. But we're up to 309 videos on YouTube. This is officially episode 250 now. So this is the 250th Snicky. Oh my God, it's the 250th official game that we've done. We started in level 20. We used Dan FM Database's England level 20 database. Started and stuck the club in level 20, right? Created all of these players down here who have some homage or connection to the old Counterlogic Gaming. Snicky was a commentator, still is a commentator, but Snicky used to commentate the team. Parks did, I did. Jack is their Discord moderator. Frack was a friend of one of the players that was on CLG Red. So everybody has like some sort of connection to CLG, and then we slowly improved them over time, and we got to level 9 now. We're in season 12, but we're starting to hit a few struggles here. We just lost to Bradley last match 2-1. We're not creating a lot against Rochdalians. We only have .12 XG on 2 shots. So Cookies, Sheamus can't win it. Twinkle, that's miles over. We are expanding the stadium though, which is good. So, like, attendance is okay, except for this game. But yeah, we made the preliminary round of the FA Cup, so we won our extra preliminary round match. But our main goalkeeper's hurt. Twinkle, you gotta finish that, bro. Yeah, our main goalkeeper's hurt, so I've got my backup goalkeeper in right now, Heinrich, who we signed from Germany. But yeah, we're doing good. This is the casual save. The FM23 save is the serious save. This is the casual save. So you have got to ease off tackles, and then once that change comes in, I'll I'm gonna tell him to calm down, because he's booked and aggressive, which is not a great combo for us right now. Konikun, there's a spot on the left. Cookies. Well, welcome in. How are you, mad scientist? I hope you're well. How are you, Llama? Franklin is a Cookies. Took it first time. He had room to run as well. Right. Calm down on Jack, because you're aggressive. And the rest of you all get the encourage. Doing well, thanks. Nice, man. I hope I'm gonna give both of y'all a shout out once the game is done, by the way. So, the shout outs I give, there's like a Twitch clip that comes up, so I want to make sure that's not overlaid on the match. But yeah, when the match finishes, I'll give you one at halftime, one at full time. Actually, that'll probably be better. Right. But welcome in. No need for shout. Always need for shout outs, man. Streamers supporting streamers. You guys are what makes this insanely fun, man. You guys are what makes streaming as enjoyable as it is. So, I mean, I was a nobody when I left the CS scene. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of the FFQ, so the support that you all have shown me just coming into your community, like, it's been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So, I could not show enough gratitude for it. So of course we're gonna shout you guys out. Cookies on the inside run. Got one on the overlap. Finds a cut inside. Good from a Konikun. Wow. I thought he could have just let one rip, because Konikun's actually got an amazing long shots rating, and I thought that would have been probably prime territory for him to just tee one up, but he did not, and now it's a corner here. Pretty much this will be the final action of the half. Sheamus whipping this in. It set it away. A Konikun maybe back for Sheamus. cut out by Cottam, and now it's going to be cleared. That is the final action on the half. So, scoreless at the break. We haven't really generated a lot of chances. In fact, neither team has, oddly enough, in the middle of this massive fixture congestion. Having said that, let's give the mad scientist a shout out. He is the creator of all the retro databases, which are it's insane to watch those saves. They're so much fun. Area. Is this a 2007, 2008 draft? Wow. That's crazy. That is awesome, actually, if that's the case. Wow. But yeah, welcome in. Guys, if you're not already following the scientists, they do an insane amount of work for the community with the retro databases. They're amazing. I actually, if I wasn't going to do, I want to do the Globetrotter save next, but if I get bored of that save, then I'm definitely trying the retro database. I don't know which one to start with. Probably the 90s one, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's awesome, man. So also has one of the best dogs on all of Twitch, by the way. So we are going to we simply have to be at least start hitting the target more. There we go. Everybody's motivated. Hooray. Sheamus has had a stinker at 6.3. He has absolutely had a stinker. So you know what that means. The GOAT, Joe Jones, comes in for him. No offense to Sheamus. I know you're probably still in the chat. I'm sorry, brother. But Joe Jones comes in for him. And Joe Jones is a guy who isn't going to play above non-league. But I'll tell you what, 12 heading and 14 jumping reach in the 9th level, I'll take it. 110% I will take it. Right. We're underway with the second half. We're at home. Attendance has got to be 170, to be fair. It's pretty good. Posture check. You got it, Viva. Thank you. Thankfully, Heinrich has grabbed that, and we are... Ooh, that's a bad giveaway. Actually, we might be able to turn on this ball. We have to build a little bit, but at least it's a good... Jones's haircut means he doesn't need... Actually, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm not one for the mohawk, but you know what? It's given him... I think the mohawk alone adds to heading. So, you know, here he is now about to... just over the top. So... He's got something like 60 some goals in 190 games for us or something like that. It's or 170 games. So the only other person that might come on at forward is Simon Roger Mukendi. Simon Roger Mukendi is a guy. It's one of those ones you can't explain. His attributes tell me he should be terrible, right? But he scores, and he scores in big games when we need him most. And I can't explain it. Simon Roger Mukendi has maybe 46 goals in 160 games as a striker that comes on from the bench. And he's like not very good. Actually, wow. But some of those 46 goals are like literally some of the biggest goals that have secured points because he only really comes on from the bench. So I love him. He's becoming a bit of a club legend here. So your sports scores bot is very good. Thank you. I have it for MLB. During the other seasons, I have it on for like Prem, Championship, League One, League Two, Vanarama National, MLS, and the NHL. But you know. The only league still playing out of all those I've mentioned is MLS. So I can give you the link to it, actually. I think it's just... got a split, mate. See you soon. Have a good one. Thank you, Mad Scientist. Thank you for coming by, bro. I appreciate you, man. It was great to see you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. That is the link to it. In case you ever want to use it. I bought the MYRB away kit. It is a nice kit. I do think it's a decent kit. out for another corner. I'm a little concerned about Jack, so I think Charlie Perver will come in for Jack. Um, so I got to help them any way I can now. Uh, Spaps just tried an overhead that went absolutely no. That was awful. That was about as well as a non-league overhead you thought was going to go. Like, that was just not good at all. Stole my Metro Stars. Listen, I agree with you. Pixelated Suits, who's from Northern Jersey, that's over the top. Would also agree with you. But I'm a Union fan, so we're technically rivals. And yeah, although a lot of Red Bulls fans would say it's not a rivalry, but they haven't beaten us since 2019, so it's becoming one. We've knocked them out of the playoffs twice as well, so it's definitely becoming one. But yeah, we all hate the Red Bulls. Jones over the top. Well, yes, but they promote energy drinks, and I love those. Did Union form because no? Union formed because the actual story. I'm going to pause the game real quick. Energy Drink FC. The Union actually have a very unique way that they formed. No other team in MLS likes that. Bizarre Brigade, who's in the chat, is a Minnesota fan. They were in USL before they moved up to MLS. They had a huge fan base, and an owner came in and said, "We want to move up to MLS. We'll get a brand new stadium." And that's kind of what happened, and they moved up from USL to MLS, right? Biz, feel free to add more details to that if I get that wrong at any point, right? The Union's formation is very different. The Sons of Ben, which is a supporters group, formed in 2009. The Union didn't exist in 2009. They didn't. So that there was a supporters group that formed to bring an MLS club to the city before the club even existed. And what started happening is the Sons of Ben decided on the team's colors and what they should be. So they wore like this kind of light blue, and they wore yellow as the two colors. And they used to get memberships, paid memberships to the Sons of Ben, and they would use the money to hire buses to bus themselves down to DC United games, which is about 2 hours away. So you had these DC United games where there was a section, most of the DC United fans around the stadium. You had the away end for whoever they were playing, New England, whomever, and then you would have a little subset of these Union fans who weren't called Union fans, they were just Sons of Ben at the time, who bussed down to DC just because they wanted to watch the sport. And eventually that grew in membership to like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 members. And the MLS took notice, and an owner from the area came in and said, right, we'll buy a plot of land. The city didn't sell it to them, but Chester did. And they bought a plot of land in Chester, Pennsylvania, and said, right, we'll build a stadium here. And that's what they did. So the way the Union formed was because the supporters group formed before the club ever did and grew large enough and kind of became too big for the league to ignore. And eventually they got a team. Were you a fan? I think Metro Stars were purchased mid-2000s, if I recall correctly. Yeah, something like that. I love the logo. I watched MLS since the early days. I'm a season ticket holder for Minnesota United. Nice. How many seasons have you been a season ticket holder, Biz? I'm a season ticket holder for the Union. This is my 10th season. Once as a partial season ticket holder, 9 as a full season ticket holder. Here's Jones. Jones can't finish. Right, 75th minute. There's only one man. There's one man for the job. Since the oh my God, that's wow. The NASL, wow. That's wow. That's a long. That's got to be 15 years, right? Uh, uh, that's got to be like 15 years. Am I right? With you. I'm in England, but used to go to MetroStars games when I was in the U.S. Nice. I didn't even realize you spent. I mean, I know you said previously you spent time in the U.S. I didn't realize you spent that much time that you were going to MetroStars games, Llama. Um, but if you were going to MetroStars game, that was a generation ago. Right, Mukendi can't win that. Spaps. It took a deflection. So, well, NASL was still around about a decade ago. It's been about 10, I think. Okay, I see. Yeah, you've been in the league. You've been in MLS like 7 or 8 now. Oh, cookies! Oh, what a save. So we've been around 15. Mukendi was going for it. That's punted clears. Perver. End of the highlight, unfortunately. Jones punts this forward. So, nice one of the best logos in MLS. Yeah, absolutely. So, I like the new Revs one. I would think the Revs redo of their logo is like the only one I would say that I really think they did a good job on. Because the old Revs logo really, like 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, man, this looks so dated. Like, you know what I mean? But I thought they did a great job with that one. But like Columbus's logo when they redid that, like terrible. When they had the circle badge, it was actually okay. I thought this is not bad as a redo, and then they changed it again, and I'm like, why? Miss Llama is British but lived in New Jersey when we first met, so I used to spend summers in the U.S. Messer starts, but yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. You know what the crazy thing is? The league is such a different quality now compared to what it was. Like back then, it was really sloppy. But like now, teams are like very good. You know what I mean? Nice. Old MLS was such an interesting period of American history. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I say the teams were a lot sloppier back then, but then also we've had like the best Champions League winners from that era, or like our best performances in the Champions League kind of from that era. So, you know, DC, that early DC team was unbelievable, you know? So, but, yeah. Chicago were chasing Bodo Glimt's captain, but in my opinion, that's a step down. Maybe. Oh, cookies! You've got to finish that, bro. What a save. Frank is exhausted. I'm running out of fresh legs. Uh, yeah, I agree. Financially, we're not able to compete, but did make a European semifinal. Yeah, I know. That was an amazing run, Viva. So I'm so happy that you got to experience that as well as a fan of Bodo Glimt. Like, you know, I've been to Red Bull games in each of the last few seasons, but only because the games are in New Jersey. They're not my club, really. Yeah, that's fair. So, just know if you were to actually pick an MLS team and it was the Red Bulls, we would probably beef at least 2 times a year. Maybe the Galaxy. Oh, yes! There he is! He's the GOAT for a reason! He's the GOAT for a reason! Play the fucking song, goddammit. 94th minute. Who else is it going to be? Who else is it going to be? I love it. I love it. He's so crap. Attribute-wise, he's terrible. But he just produces that every time. Oh my God! Oh, please don't concede now, for the love of Christ. Maybe the Galaxy team. Yeah, I would say that was probably. But even then, they didn't win the Champions League, right? So whereas DC did, they went in and won the Champions League. Simon Roger Mukendi's 94th minute goal. This is immediately getting posted to the CLG Discord because, I mean, why not? Who else really? The legend, the absolute legend that is Simon Roger Mukendi. Uh, yeah, very true. Probably what separates the two. Yeah, honestly. Because DC won, what, 3 titles with that team? And the Champions League. And, like, and 90s Mexico, those teams were tough, man. That was almost like a golden generation of Mexican players. Uh, so, like that, they were a good side in 2000, in the late 90s and the early 2000s. So, you know, they would have had a lot of good players. Uh, but right, a lot of games to go through here. Let's get through it. Abacus Media hosting Hanley. Purewell's 14th minute goal for Hanley gave them the advantage. O'Channer in the 63rd leveled it. He scored 2 minutes later to put Abacus Media ahead before Musto was dismissed in the 69th minute. It didn't stop Abacus Media because Warwick in the 87th and Ibe in the added time at the end of the second half means Abacus Media run out 4-1 winners. Buxton hosting Sandbach United. Nicholas French in the 70th minute is the only goal of the occasion. Buxton will run out 1-0 winners at home. Colne hosting Trafford. It was Bonner in the 71st. I'm sorry, no, it was Needham in the 64th for the visitors of Trafford to put them ahead before Bonner leveled it 7 minutes later for Colne. Murphy 10 minutes after that in the 81st gave Trafford the win, 2-1. Hattersley hosting Glossop North End. Marchant in the opening minute of play gave Hattersley the advantage at home. He doubled it in the 18th and then went 3-0 up in the 49th. A hat trick for him. Skerry's stoppage time goal at the end of the second half is only consolation for Glossop North End. Marston Brook hosting Avro. 29th minute penalty from Lloyd gave Avro the early lead. Horwood in the 57th would draw Marston Brook level, and that started an absolute quick fire of goals where Parsons would score 5 minutes after that to put Avro back in front, and then Allington 2 minutes after that from the penalty spot would score, and immediately after the kickoff, Jarvis would be dismissed from play by Marston Brook. They run out 2-2 draw. Yes, I did see Vancouver's link with Thomas Mueller. Are there any MLS expansion clips on the horizon? Garber said we would have to see, but I don't think Milwaukee would work, Biz, in all honesty. I could see Vegas. I definitely could see Detroit. I would have thought Sacramento at one point wanted to come up. I know that. Maybe San Antonio as well. Yes, Vegas do have a non-MLS club. Yes, the Vegas Lights, yeah. They're owned by the former MLB player Jose Bautista, who played for the Toronto Blue Jays. Phoenix is another, yeah. That's true. Phoenix would actually be what they have a huge fan base. They would do well in MLS, I think. They would do very well in MLS. Right. Stockport Georgians hosting Bainbridge Bridge. Bayard in the 18th got Stockport Georgians the early advantage. Marshall doubled it in the 46th before Panica, or it might be like Panica, got one back in the 59th minute for Bainbridge Bridge. That is terrible pronunciation, but I can't. Eastern Europeans I'm going to really struggle with. Bayard in the 81st made it 3-1. Stockport Georgians run out a nice victory at home. Stockbridge hosting Warrington. Ersteling in the 11th minute got Warrington underway. Kevin Williams in the 17th made it 2-0. Morris got one back in the 21st for Stockbridge to make it 2-1, but then Hartley in the 31st made it 3-1 for Warrington. They didn't stop there after Morris's 55th minute or I should say goal that pulled back within one again. It was Expedito who got one in the 85th, and then Ersteling in the 87th for Warrington. Both for Warrington made it 5-2 on the road. Right, Stone Old Alleneans hosting Old Stratfordians. Wensley for Stone Old Alleneans in the 7th minute got them off and running, but then Coughlin in the 35th leveled it for Old Stratfordians. Allen gave them the lead right before half in stoppage time. Coughlin added a third goal for Old Stratfordians in the 81st, 3-1 for them on the road. Warrington Rylands hosting Stafford, really struggling Stafford early in the season, but they find the points here. Penny's 41st minute strike is the only goal of the occasion. Big win for them. They pull out of the drop early on. Is that Phoenix Rising? Yes, Phoenix Rising. That's absolutely correct. There were actually two people, Biz, surprisingly, yesterday's game, there were two people wearing Phoenix Rising jerseys at the game. I was like, oh, you know what was crazy to me, Biz? Somebody wore a Minnesota United jersey to the game yesterday. I was like, are you lost? All respect to Minnesota United. Like, I like them. I like you, Biz. You know what I mean? I have all the respect in the world for you. But, like, bro, we're playing Colorado. What the hell are you doing wearing a Minnesota United jersey to the game? I was like, bro, I don't know. Yeah, Milwaukee, I heard recently there's some money being assembled for a new out of thin air squad. Really? Yes, would probably be them. It's tough though. A lot of investors will use the market and undercut USL side. Sort of what happened in San Diego, where I used to have the loyal who were not financially healthy enough to make a bid. Then the right to dream investors came in and put a bid in to utilize existing supporters. Yeah, yeah. That's why USL and MLS have a lot of animosity. I think, I honestly think the promotion relegation that USL is going to implement is like a last gasp to try and establish themselves at the tier 1 side, and I think it's going to financially ruin the USL, unfortunately. And once they collapse, the only thing that'll be left is MLS. I like listening to Americans that are so passionate about the league. I don't matter to chat. I know, I fucking hate it. I hate it. People are like, oh, it's a terrible league. Oh, why would I watch it? The English game is better. I'm like, yes, of course the English game's better. They have 200 times the money and 6 times the history. So, of course that league is going to be better. You know, but it's not a bad league. There's a lot of quality in the league. You know, and you could see the teams try to play well. It's very open. Yeah, it makes no sense to me why people are getting I'm the same way. Everyone that's like that pushes if it's well, it needs to be more like why isn't there promotion route? Why is there a salary cap? Why isn't it like that? And I'm like, guy, not every league in the world needs to be cut from the same cloth. Do you know what I mean? Like, it isn't. It's your exactly. We got to go back to pre-Bossman ruling football. I'm a little bit lost on the reference to Paul Gilles. A little bit lost on the reference, but I'm sure you'll educate me. I actually like that it can have the worst season of all time and not be relegated. I actually like the fact that a team can win the cup and not make the playoffs the next year. I like the fact that 16 of the 30 clubs have won the title in 30 seasons. A lot of the time because some of those clubs haven't been around more than 5 seasons. I understand that San Diego hasn't. This is their first season. Austin's not been around 5 years, things like that. But I like the fact that 16 of the 30 clubs have a star above the crest. West Didsbury and Charlton versus Addingham. Fazakerley's 35th minute goal gave Addingham the lead. He doubled the advantage in the 64th. Ray got one back 5 minutes later for West Didsbury and Charlton. Preedy made it 3-1 in the 77th. Guy's Penn in the 84th minute for West Didsbury and Charlton. Got them back within one again. They couldn't find the equalizer. 2-3. It runs out. Final game. Wythenshawe Town have finally put Bradley to the sword. Wren's 15th minute goal before Hook O'Neill's 18th and 55th minute strikes made it 3-0. Lewis got one back in the 82nd for Bradley, but it's only consolation, which means there's not a lot of unbeaten teams. There's not a lot of 100% teams left in the league. In fact, Wythenshawe Town is now one of them. Same with Abacus Media and Addingham. Those are the results. Anyway, I need to get some sleep. Have a wonderful rest of your thing. Thank you, Viva. I appreciate you, brother. Have a wonderful night, man. Have a wonderful night. Adam coming in. Welcome in, Adam, man. I'll give you a shout out in a second, brother. We are building it completely backwards, too. That's what a lot of people forget. We couldn't make promotion relegation work out of the gate. It's not a scalable model at the time with the interest level. That's true. 90s is really... You're very right about that, especially considering we started in the 90s, right? Like, now, the interest is huge. In the 90s, it was very much a back marker. Very much a back marker in terms of a sport and the interest in the sport, right? And now Pandora's out of the box and investors have their assets and profit and aren't going to agree to relegation without some sort of revenue sharing to assure profitability moving forward. I agree. Do many MLS fans desire pro level in the league, or do they make it mirror other U.S. sports. I do not desire pro rel personally, but I I wouldn't be against it if it came into the league. I would only be against it if the MLS did something like sold the media rights package separately. If you get to a scenario beneath that it works, all right, thank you very much, Thomas. I appreciate you, brother. Get a wonderful night's rest, bro. Take care of yourself. So many great cities that could have a team in MLS too. Yeah, I think the main thing that has to happen is if they go to sell the TV rights, right? They have to agree that the person taking the TV rights broadcasts both leagues equally, and that all clubs across both leagues get the same amount of money from the revenue sharing from the TV rights deal. The moment you give MLS2 less money from TV rights or less GAM or less TAM to sign players, then it becomes a problem because you basically doom those clubs to staying down, and that's not what you want. That's not what you want at all, especially since the MLS is moving to a model where you can just start buying players. This was the first offseason. A lot of people that don't follow the league don't know this, but this was the first offseason in MLS at the start of this year in January where the cash for players window is open, where I can go to another MLS club and instead of offering general allocation money or draft picks or an international roster spot, I can just straight say I'll pay you X amount of money for that player. And this is the first season that's been in place. So that's a big move for the league. So I think and I think that's a step in the right direction for MLS as well. But I think if you open up the possibility to do that, and then you wind up having an MLS 1 and 2, and the revenue sharing between those leagues is not equal, I think all the wonderful parity that you've built in the league, I think you completely tear it apart. I think that you at least risk tearing it apart. That's the problem. Right, let's kick this off with the first question from Nathaniel Kane, the non-league paper. I was keeping time too, and they got a spot on. Can you put in your words your reaction with Simon? Oh my God, is great. How do you think the two teams fared against each other from a tactical perspective? Found it fascinating. We've really been pleased with how we've done. I just want to win games. Right, that was it. Okay. Right. This is the end of the recording if you're on YouTube. Thank you for watching episode 250. We'll see you for the next one, episode 251. We did bounce back. We got I think the FA Cup games next. Anyway, we'll see you for that one. Until then, take care.